does not have the clarity of understanding. He is in a state of confusion. Confusion is opposed to clarity. 99% of the problems are because we are in a state of confusion. There is no clarity. A young student in the college, a 20-year-old boy, he looks at a beautiful girl in the classroom, and the girl darts a wonderful smile. Now the boy is in confusion. Does she love me? Does she make fun of me? Does she have any curiosity about me? He doesn't know the meaning of that smile. Therefore, his mind wanders about. His mind is not able to understand the real meaning of his smile. Yes, her smile. So, when am I disturbed? When do I get perturbed? When do I lose that poise of the mind? When is my mind not balanced? When there is no clarity. Arjun does not have the clarity of understanding. He does not have a clear picture of the truth. It's very, very important. Arjun is a representative of mankind. Young people, old people, all of us are like Arjun at one point of time or another. And when we are unable to have that clarity of understanding, when our minds are clouded, when they are anxiety ridden, when they are stressed, there is despair. There is also fear. There is also tension. There is also anxiety. It is due to many, many reasons. And we in yoga philosophy use the word adi. Adi is the state of mind when it is not in a position to understand clearly. When we unnecessarily react to a situation, there is adi. I give a simple example. In Manasa Sarovar near Kailas mountain, there is a huge lake. Manas, Sarovar. Two simple words. Mind is Manas. Sarovar is lake. What is this speciality of this lake? It is calm. It is clear. It is transparent. And it is without waves. Therefore, if there is a rupee coin at the bottom of the lake or a stone at the bottom of the lake, from above you can see the stone. You can see the rupee coin. It is transparent. When can you not see the rupee coin? When the water is not pure. When the lake is not clear. When there are waves. Water may be good. It may be clean and clear. But if there are waves, it is disturbed and you cannot see the rupee coin at the bottom. Similarly, the mind of a spiritual person, the mind of a transparent person, the mind of a person of integrity is pure, transparent, clear, without any waves. then you can see dharma clearly. What is right, what is wrong, you will understand. In religious terms, you can see the God in heart. In the yogic terminology, you are of consciousness. You are aware of divinity. You are able to see the God within. When? When the mind is clear, when the mind is transparent, when the mind has no waves on the surface. Therefore, Patanjali says, Chitta Vritti Nirodhaha. And then, what are the first two things? Yama. The very first word, Satya. Openness, truthfulness, frankness, no secrecy. Secrecy is different from privacy. When the husband and wife are in the bedroom, there is no secret about it. They are private. When a person is in the washroom, there is no secret about it. He is private. Now, transparency is nothing but truthfulness. That's integrity. That's righteousness. That's clear understanding. And Arjuna's mind is clouded. Arjuna's mind is disturbed. He is unable to decide. He is unable to be decisive. He is unable to see the truth. He is unable to know what is his duty. Therefore, the entire first chapter is nothing but a patient going to a doctor because of his psychic disturbance. You go to a psychiatrist, and what do we say? Somehow, sir, I am unable to be peaceful. I am unable to be tranquil. I am unable to decide. I am frenzied. I am despondent. I don't get the sleep. I do not know what is right, what is wrong. These are all the sentences we can get from any patient going to a psychiatrist. The very first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna Paramatma has not opened his mouth. In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, only Arjuna speaks. There is no voice of Krishna. When you go to a doctor, doctor won't speak first. It is only the patient. Sir, headache, sir. Throat problem, sir. Knee problem, sir. Backache, sir. Neckache, sir. My wife, sir. Quarreling, sir. I am angry with her, sir. I am unable to get sleep, sir. The doctor will be sitting. Speak. Allow him to speak. Same thing Krishna does. In the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna Vishada, his sorrow, his grievances, his difficulties, his problems, all put together in yogic terminology, Adi. Sickness has crept into the mind. Now, Sri Krishna begins to speak, or the psychiatrist begins to speak, or the doctor begins to speak when the patient completes the description of his ailments, problems, difficulties. And what is the first sentence that Krishna says? The second chapter, the very first sentence Krishna says is, Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupusthitam anarya justam asvargyam akirtikaram arjuna kshuddha rudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktotishta parantapa. You fool, you are weak. You are psychologically weak. Hridaya daurbalyam. Is it becoming of you? Is it right on your part to be despondent? Utastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam. This is not the time to be despondent. The war is ready to be commenced. You have come with bow and arrow. Enemies are standing. Anaryajustam, it is not the quality of a cultured person. Arya is a cultured person. You don't behave like a healthy man. You don't speak like a cultured person. Earlier, Krishna was told by Arjun, Nakanche Vijayam Krishna Nacharajyam Sukhanicha. I don't want victory. I don't want kingdom. I don't want to wage the war. I don't want to do anything. I want to run away. Escapism. You want to run away from the battlefield? You want to run away from the duty? Modern similar examples. People go to IAS interview. I was on the board many times. I was supposed to be an expert to interview the IAS candidates. And the boy is very intelligent, very bright, very much informed, highly scholarly person, erudition. And while entering the interview room, there is pallor, there is bloodlessness, there is confusion, there is nervousness. Looking at the board members, he fumbles. No, sir. No. What happened? There are many reasons. Number one, the people in front of him are more intelligent than I. He loses confidence. Sir Winston Churchill was a powerful speaker. He was an excellent orator, an excellent administrator. For your information, he never went to a college or a university. His English was found to be defective, grammatically incorrect. His teachers of English were very unhappy with him. And when he answered the papers, it was full of red marks. Finally, he was an unsuccessful student in the school itself on account of his bad English, wrong English, defective English. And the man had confidence in himself, clarity of understanding he had. He was able to understand the psychology of the voters, listeners. He became a speaker. He developed himself into an orator. He became the war minister. He became the prime minister. And people were enthralled by his beautiful delivery of an English address. It might have had mistakes. He never bothered. Two students were fascinated by his lecture. They followed him. Wherever Winston Churchill was speaking, these two students would sit in the front row and listen to him. One day, these two young aspirants proceeded to Winston Churchill, greeted him, "Sir, you are an excellent speaker. We are your fans, sir. We want to know the secret of your success. How is it you are able to be a powerful speaker?" Winston Churchill looked at them. "My boys, come to my room. I shall tell you the secret of my success." The two boys entered. In those days, there was not much of security. And Winston Churchill was seated in his chair opposite. These two boys were asked to sit. And, "Sir, please tell me, we are very, very Curious to learn the secret of your success, we would like to speak as you speak, sir. And they took the pen and paper. They wanted to jot down the points. My boys, keep the pen in your pockets. Listen to it. Register in your mastakas, not in your pustakas. They said, when I stand before the mic, when I have the audiences in front of me, I have two thoughts in my mind. Yes, sir, please tell what are those two wonderful thoughts. First thought, I know what I am going to speak. There is nothing new about it. I know what I am going to speak now. I am going to speak about Bhagavad Gita, the therapeutic value of Bhagavad Gita, how it works on the mind. I know it. What is the second point, sir? That is very, very important. Winston Churchill said, when I stand before the mic, when I see the audience, first thought, I know what I am going to speak. Second thought, people sitting in front of me do not know anything. I know everything. The moment you think the people sitting in front of you are more intelligent than you, you get confused. You become weak. You become diffident. Now Arjun has arrived. Looked at Bhishmacharya. To fight against him. Dronacharya, my master, he is superior to me. He is senior to me. He is my guru. The boy goes to the IAS board, chairman, grey-haired man, Yamadharmaraj. For this side, for that side, Navagrahas. Graha used to catch. I am only an ordinary person. And that is the reason why the candidate appearing for the IAS gets confused. One is, I am diffident. Diffidence is the opposite of confidence. One reason. Whenever you think that the person in front of you is superior, better, greater, you lose your ability to understand, you lose your ability of confidence, and you fumble. Winston Churchill says, confidence, confidence, confidence. Arjuna has lost it. Why did he lose it? Bhishma, Drona, Krupa, Ashwadhama, Shalya, Karna, giants. One reason. In our lives also similar situations we do come across. We lose clarity, we lose confidence. And disease creeps in, diffidence creeps in, inferiority creeps in, confusion creeps in. Second reason. I myself have seen this. One student has been invited to the IAS final interview board, and he was sitting with the other people waiting for the call. One gentleman, it was his own friend, and A is the candidate to face the interview. B is the friend of A, he is also appearing for the interview. They both are waiting for the invitation call from within, and B is a rival of A. In the library, B used to steal the books and misplace them so that A would not read. Several such students are available in the universities. When I was a student, my professors would make a mention of various textbooks, various reference books. One of my classmates would run in advance to the library. He will collect all those books. He would place them in mathematics section so that I can never have an access to it. Professional rivalry. he has done so much injustice to me as I was a student. Bhima was attempted for a murder by Duryodhana. He was thrown into the water. He was given poisoned food. Dushasana held Draupadi by hair. All these people are to be punished. Dushta Chatushtayam, Duryodhana, Dushasana, Karna, Shakuni, all rotten fellows. And throughout my career, he has disappointed me. He has been my rival. He has been my enemy. He has cheated me. He has done so much of damage to my reputation. Now, I am waiting for the call. He is also waiting. Then that B tells, my dear A, I am the only person in my house. My father is no more. My mother is widowed. My sisters have to get married. Nobody is there with a job in our house. We don't have any property. You are more intelligent. You are better. You are greater. You are sure to get IAS selection. I cannot get a job elsewhere. If you appear for the interview, you will be the rank holder. He pleads with me. Now, this boy A goes. If I give the answers, my friend may not get the job. Throughout my career, he has damaged me. He has attempted to murder me. And now I am moved with pity for him. Arjuna looks at Karna. Poor fellow. Arjuna looks at Ashwadhama, my master's son. Arjuna looks at the other stalwarts like Pitamaha Bhishma. Am I to kill them? Misplaced mercy. This is called misplaced mercy. In Nirbhaya case of India, those rascals have misbehaved with a girl. They have killed her, and when the case went to the president's notice, there are letters in the newspapers. Poor fellows, they may be excused. This is the nature of a weak man. Throughout my career as the principal, the fellow has been doing bad. He was never sincere. He was never disciplined. He was teasing the girls. He was copying in the examinations. When I withhold the hall ticket, precious. And I myself feel, poor fellow. Misplaced mercy. Arjuna, number one, he has expected high of the people. Guru Tulya, Pitru Tulya, Daiva Tulya, Bhishma, Drona and others. Am I to kill them? When it is to precipitate into action, we are unable to put it into practice because we lose our confidence. Na kanche vijayam Krishna, na cha rajyam sukhani cha, kimno bhogena. I don't want any pleasure. Let me run away. Let me go to the woods, close my nostrils, sit and meditate on Brahman. It's escapism. It is not righteousness. One is that. Second is misplaced mercy. Third, you expect the fruit immediately. If you are to give selection to yourself, why should you go to the board? Selection is not in your hands. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. If the PhD is in your hand, why should you go to the university and submit the thesis? It's not your field. It's not your territory. Arjun might be expecting the fruit immediately. And when you think of the fruit, your concentration in the action on hand will be diluted. Example, a doctor, he is in the operation theater. The abdomen has been opened. Now a thought comes into his mind. It is a major surgery. It's a case which would get me 5 lakhs of rupees. And what shall I do with 5 lakhs? 3 lakhs I shall give to my wife for the diamond necklace. 1 lakh I will send it to my son for his higher studies. 1 lakh I shall try to buy a site somewhere. Suppose his thought is glued to the result, concentration in the operation will be lost. When he is unable to concentrate, have you opened the abdomen? His mind is half outside. His mind is fully not present in concentration on the operation. Therefore, what will happen? He will forget the scissors inside. And the operation will fail. Therefore, when we are engaged in an activity, let not the mind be going to the fruit of the action. Your concentration fails. Arjuna has gone to the fruit, and the fruit has become disastrous. If I wage the war, what is the guarantee that I will be successful? If I am not successful, what will happen to me? That's why at the end of the Bhagavad Gita, almost in the last chapter, Krishna tells, Hatova prapyasi swargam. Arjun, if you are to die, good, you will go to heaven. Jitvava, suppose you win, you enjoy the kingdom. Both are good. When you are taking a step towards activity, think not of the fruit. If you think of the fruit, number one, you lose concentration. Number two, the fruit may be favorable, unfavorable. If it is favorable, good. If it is unfavorable, you become despondent in of itself. Many students spoil the next day's examination. First day mathematics paper, let us say. The question paper is over, answers are written, the examination time was over, they all come to the ground, under the greenwood trees shade, they all assemble, and the most brilliant student will try to give the correct answers to the questions. And they dissect the answer paper. I have committed the mistake. You have taken the examination. Why should you think of the past? It may be good, it may be bad. The papers are to be scrutinized, scanned by somebody. Results will be announced sometime after 3 years or 3 months. Now, if you are to think of the fruit, next day's question paper you will spoil. Gatasya gatam. And now Arjuna's mind may be tuned to the fruit. There, that is the reason why. And Krishna at one point after Prajnavadamsya bhashase, you speak as though you are a very intelligent man, but you are a fool. How? This happened again in the one of the institutions where I was the head. I was known to be a very strict principal. I was a very strict disciplinarian. Even the smallest mistake on the part of the student would result in some punishment or even dismissal. If the boy was found to be copying in the examination hall, instant dismissal, his luggage will be packed and he will be issued the TC and he will be sent out of the college. That was how I was an administrator. One day, I convened the meeting of the heads of the departments, mathematics, physics, chemistry, botany, zoology, history, economics, commerce, computer science, law, engineering, etc. As I was the head. My dear heads, for the past several years, we have been very, very strict. Even the smallest mistake we were not tolerating. We were terminating the services. We were terminating the studies of the students and sending them out. Poor fellows. Are we punishing the students or are we punishing the parents? Is it right on our part to punish? Why can't we give a long rope? Why can't we warn them first time, second time, third time, fourth time? Why can't we penalize 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 15 rupees punishment? Why should we take that drastic step of dismissal for a small thing? I was telling. It appeared to be very, very intelligent, very, very convincing. All the professors were surprised. Sir, suddenly how is it you have changed your attitude towards the students, sir? I know the truth. What is the truth? My elder brother told me, my fellow, my son is a mischievous fellow. Nobody is giving him seat in Hyderabad. You are his uncle. It is your responsibility to see that the boy is well educated. I am sending my son. Admit him in your college. You have to look after him, take care of him. I know he will commit mistakes. I know he will copy in the examinations. I know he will be highly mischievous and indisciplined. Now, I speak in such a way that I am kind, generous, compassionate. I am not really kind. I am selfish. I want to protect my elder brother's son. I want to safeguard him. This is again misunderstanding of the righteousness of dharma, selfishness, attachment. This technically is called Ishanatrayam, Dareshana, Dhaneshana, Putreshana. All put together you can call it Lokeshana. And it is dharma, righteousness. I give up dharma because of my selfish reason. Now I tried to give you 4 reasons. Number 1, misplaced mercy. Number 2, I think of the fruit. Number 3, I find the people in front of me to be superior, higher, better, more noble, etc. And all due to my selfishness, my attachment. Swajana Mudgyate, my people, my. All these things have come into the mind of Arjun looking at the people. If we are to wage war, there will be widows. There will be widows. There will be orphans. Yes, there will be. And were you not prepared for that? Earlier, in Uttara Gograhana, single-handed you were, same Bhishma, Ashwadhama, Kripa, Karna, all were present. Why did you not lose your sobriety then? You were prepared. Don't you remember Karna using dirty words? How is it you develop affection for him suddenly? You speak like a son. Agatasu nagatasuncha nanusochanti panditaha. A good man of right understanding will not speak like you. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam anaryajustam aswargyam. Swargya means comfort, success, happiness, cheerfulness, favorableness. All these things will not be there because you are not a cultured person. A cultured person is unselfish. A cultured person has the right understanding. A cultured person knows the truth. A cultured person does not have the misplaced mercy. Compassion is necessary to the deserving man. Does Karna deserve your compassion? Does Dushasana deserve it? Does Duryodhana deserve it? How is it suddenly you become imbalanced? Mind is clouded. And what is the result? I am unable to decide. Adi of the mind, confusion of the mind, misplaced mercy of the mind, absence of understanding in the mind, thinking that the people are superior, diffidence, these things are to cause Adi. Manasa Sarovara is disturbed. There is Sanchalanam. There is confusion. And it comes down to the body. That's our yoga philosophy. Other doctors like allopathy, homeopathy, etc., they treat the symptoms. Yogic treatment, we go to the root cause. Why this problem of the body? It is because of this some disorder in the mind. We address ourselves to the mind, not to the body. And asthma, for example, it's a psychological disease. Allergy, what the doctors are unable to explain the genuine reason, it's called allergy. Allergy to husband, allergy to wife, allergy to dust, allergy to environment, allergy, 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 allergy. I don't like him. I don't like hair. I don't like spiders. I don't like dust. I don't like this. That's called allergy. And Arjun is perhaps allergic. Therefore, that Adi gradually percolates, comes down, enters into the body, then it becomes Vyadhi. Physical sickness. Psychic sickness comes to the body and becomes physical sickness. What is that sickness? Non-communicable disease. What is the non-communicable disease? Diabetes, blood pressure, asthma. In 90% of the cases, it is because of the tensions. Tensions are because you are unable to know the truth. Anxiety, worry, hurry. Arjun is a typical person of psychic disorder, which Sri Krishna himself analyzes when he says, Hridaya Daurbalyam, psychic weakness. And it comes to the body, and then Arjun's face is pale, he is stressed, and he himself declares, Krishna, I am unable to stand, my feet do not support my body, my head reels, boy is sleeping, I am unable to be erect, falls, sits in the middle of the chariot. Weakness. Psychic weakness enters into the body. Physically, a person becomes weak. This is the first chapter. Now, Krishna as a psychiatrist, as a doctor, as a person to remedy the situation, he must infuse what are the things to be given to Arjuna. Number one is glucose injection. And that is strength at all levels. Swami Vivekananda says, all our problems are because of our psychic weakness. Strength at the physical level, strength at the psychic level, strength at the intellectual level, strength at the spiritual level. First, build that strength. Upanishadic statement. Nayamatma balahinena labhyaha. Balahina, a weakling cannot attain spiritual strength. A weakling cannot attain anything wonderful called success. How many people are suffering? They are physically strong, but there is some psychic weakness. They fail miserably. I have seen hundreds of cases among my students, my colleagues. There is nothing wrong physically with them, but they are unable to be successful for want of confidence, for want of right understanding, for want of impartial outlook, objectivity. Subjectivity pollutes, selfishness corrupts, man falls. All these qualities have entered into Arjun. And what are the ways? What are the steps? Now treatment starts. First treatment, my dear Arjun, your understanding is clouded. Try to understand the truth. And that is Jnana Yoga. Very clearly what is wrong, what is bad, right. Let your discretion be perfect. Vichakshana Jnana. Your intellect has stopped to function. Sharpen it. Brighten it. Advantages and disadvantages you try to know. Let there be a clear picture of the truth. And Krishna analyzes what is truth. Do you think that these people will not die if you don't kill them? The truth is they will be killed. If you don't take up the bow and weapons, do you mean to say, I will keep quiet, I will ask my Sudarshan Chakra to come and do away with all these people? Don't think that you are the person. Some woman asked the husband, my dear husband, I am very beautiful. I am very attractive. You are really lucky to have me as your wife. Suppose I was not born, whom could you have married? The husband would say, it is my ill luck you are born. Had you not been born, I would have got a better girl, more beautiful girl, more intelligent girl. On the temple, in the corners, you find two people holding the Gopuram. And the picture, that statue thinks, I am holding the Gopuram. Who is supporting whom? There is a hen, and it makes a sound early in the morning. Listening to that, the sun rises. One old woman said, because of my hen's invitation, sun is rising. I will leave this village with my hen. You all will be without the sun. You will live in darkness. What a foolish thinking. I am VIP. If I am not to speak here, a better person would have talked to you. Man thinks of himself as very high. Arjun, you are an insignificant. Nimittamatram bhavasavyasachi. Mayaivaite netaha purvameva. I have already killed them. Jatasya dhruvo mrityuhu. All the born are destined to be killed, destined to die. You cannot save them, nor can you kill them. You are just my devotee. Therefore, I have given you an opportunity to wield the weapons. I have already done the work. What is the truth? Naham kruto bhavo buddhiryasya lipyate hatvam saimam lokan nahantina nibadyate. It's your egoism. It's your attachment to the body. Do you mean to say things will not happen without you? They will happen. Be free from that foolish assumption. Feel free that everything happens in spite of you. So, Jnanodayam. And at the end, Krishna says, my dear Arjun, if you wage the war, these are the advantages and disadvantages. If you don't wage the war, these are the advantages and disadvantages. If you marry this girl, these are the advantages and disadvantages. If you take up this job, these are the advantages and these are the disadvantages. Yadhechasi tadha kuru, do as you like. When the understanding is clear, when the truth is seen, you will be right in choosing the right one. The educational system should be in a position to project both sides. Don't try to force anybody to do anything. Open the doors, brighten the intellect, sharpen the brain. Let the people know what is right, what is wrong, that Vichakshana Jnana, and that is Sri Paramahamsa Sri Ramakrishna. You don't try to impose your ideas. Krishna has never imposed his ideas on Arjuna. He has only clarified. He has only presented the truth. He has only explained objectively. That is Jnana Yoga. The first thing is you analyze. People come with problems. You analyze the problem, there is no problem at all. The problems can be faced, the problems can be solved or dissolved. You only give them the strength to face the problem, and that is willpower. Willpower is nothing but confidence. That is nothing but Raja Yoga. Now, there are 4 ways of giving the treatment to the mind. 4 or 5. 5 ways. Number 1 is Raja Yoga. You try to give such strong injections. Come on, man. Anjaneya Swami was reluctant to fly. Lanka was to be visited. Angada said, I can go, I cannot come back. Jambavan said, I was able to go when I was young, not now. Each was able to assess their abilities. And Anjaneya Swami, who had the potentiality, who had the ability, was sitting quiet. Then Jambavan came. My dear Anjaneya, you are the son of Vayu. You are Aryaputra. You are the son of Anjana Devi, of austerity. You went to the sun god, mistaking him for a fruit once upon a time. You rouse his strength. You try to make him bold. As Jambavan was giving boost after boost, injection after injection, Anjaneya became large in size. He assumed that Vishwarupa went to the top of the Mahendragiri mountain and crossed the ocean in a single leap. Swami Vivekananda on the 25th and 26th and 27th of December 1892 stood on that single rock at Kanyakumari, looked at the people. You people, how long do you remain lethargic? How long do you remain in slumber? How long do you remain shamelessly like slaves? A few fellows, one fellow, Robert Klein, came and you have submitted yourself to that single clerk. Are you not ashamed? How long do you sleep? Arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. And he was able to rouse the potentiality of the Indians, and the great Indian liberation movement, independence movement came, and we got the independence. Sri Krishna did the same. You are the son of who? Indra. Vajrayudhadhari. Who are you? My sister's husband, Subhadra's husband. How can you be timid, cowardly like this? And what are your talents? Arjuna, Palguna, Partha, Kiriti, Bhivatsa, Dhananjaya, Sabyasachi, MPhil, PhD, DSc, DLit. You have so many degrees. How is it you keep like? Raja Yoga is willpower. We did have that willpower in the childhood. Every person is gifted with willpower. For your information, yoga will not give anything new which we do not already have. We do have that willpower. The small baby in the cradle is lying on the back and it wants to turn to the sides, willpower, and it turns. It wants to sit up, it sits up. How long am I to sit? Let me stand, willpower. The baby stands up. I shall walk. 100 times the baby falls, but perseverance, the baby walks. That is willpower. Now, Sri Krishna has given that willpower rousing call to the nation was given by Vivekananda. Rousing call to Arjuna was given by Sri Krishna. That's what a doctor does. You are not an ordinary man. You are a great person. This is how the injection is given, encouragement is given. Krishna treats psychologically, and then the clarity of understanding Jnana Yoga. Third, you have the wonderful defect in Arjuna, negative thinking. When the feelings are not properly guided by knowledge, there is always negative thinking. Negative thinking is fear, diffidence. And now, if the positive direction is given at the end of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Charma Sloka, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Sri Vijayor Bhuti Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. Yogeshwara is a positive person. Dhanurdhara is a Khadgavadi, Karyavadi, a person capable of doing it. Where you find Purusha Prayatna and Purusha himself, God himself, Yogeshwara himself, there you find Sri. Now, Arjun, your feelings are bad, you are thinking negatively. Positive thinking you develop. The entire Bhagavad Gita is nothing but positive thinking. You go to the examination hall with two thoughts. If I fail, if I pass, there are only two. If I pass the examination, I will be the district collector IAS. If I fail in the examination, I will be the finance minister. I will be the agriculture minister. I will be the chief minister. I will be the prime minister. In either way, I will be successful. That is positive thinking. Krishna gives that positive thinking, and that positive thinking is called Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti is nothing but a channelized emotion. Bhakti is nothing but feelings positively framed, positively, progressively utilized. Raja Yoga is to strengthen the willpower. Jnana Yoga is to make the mind see the truth by sharpening the intellect, brain. When you know the truth, you will get the confidence. When you have the sankalpa successfully, you will know the truth. I should not keep quiet. Perseverance, perseverance. Ramana Maharshi went to Tiruvannamalai until I know the truth, I shall not go back. Gautama Buddha, until I know the truth, I shall not go back. Amma, until you give me your darshan, I shall not sleep. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, perseverance. That is your willpower. Of late, that willpower is weakened. Doctor strengthens it. You have the emotions negatively expressed. That negative side is to be stopped and you have to be directed on the positive way. That is your bhakti. Jnana is giving the truth. Raja Yoga is to strengthen the willpower. Bhakti Yoga is to instill sincerity and give positive direction. All these things, when translated into action without any expectation, it's called Karma Yoga. That is for the welfare of others. It's not for you to fail or succeed. Kennedy came to this country. He gave a slogan, don't ask the question what the country has done to you. Ask the question what you have done to the country. Don't think that you will be benefited by the war. Others are being benefited. Adharma is going to be removed. Dharma is going to be established. Paritranaya sadhunam vinasaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. I am giving you the opportunity to utilize my hand for the establishment of dharma, and that is Bhakti Yoga, translated into karma. Karma is nothing but action. when the actions are performed for the welfare of humanity, mankind, when the actions are performed for the righteousness, with all sincerity, that is Karma Yoga. Mister, take up the bow and arrow. Stand up, fight unto the last. All are given. Finally, Krishna says, my dear Arjun, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam rajaham tva sarva papebhyo mokshaishyami masuchaha. Finally, doctor says to the patient, don't worry, sir. You will be all right, sir. You are in fact all right, sir. Give me the responsibility to me. I shall make you the fittest person. Sharanam, Sharanagati, Prapatti. Girish Chandra Ghosh went to Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He is a wholesale sinner. He was told by Ramakrishna, give me the power of attorney. I shall save you from all the sins. I shall prevent you from the fall. You will be always on the top. That is what Krishna has done. Mother, my boy, don't feel, don't be worried. I am there. Every mother gives that protection to the baby. Every teacher has to give that protection to the student. Don't worry, I am here. Wife here. Krishna has ultimately done it, and that is Prapatti Shastra. 5 types of treatment Krishna has given to the mind. Number 1, boosting that determining capacity, determination, willpower, sankalpa suddhi. Number 2, clarity of understanding, knowing the truth. Number 3, positivity, no negative thinking. Whichever happens is for our good. Whichever does not happen is for our betterment. Both are good. And all these things 3, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga crystallized into action is called Karma Yoga. Even then I have the doubt, will I be all right? No, I am here, there, man. Why you fear? Abhayam dadami sarva bhuteshu etat vratam mama, Ramachandra Prabhu says. Similarly, as yoga masters, when a patient comes to us, don't worry, I am here to make you healthy physically, mentally, psychologically, intellectually, and spiritually. Go home peacefully. I shall take care of you. That's what a lawyer does. That's what a doctor does. That's what a mother does. That's what God does. That's what yoga does. Yoga is a sarva roga nivarini, sarva bhaya nirmulani. It restores strength. It gives us determination. It gives clarity of understanding. It gives positive thinking. It gives karya acharana with sincerity and shraddha. Finally, it gives support from all angles. Sri Krishna is the greatest psychiatrist. The entire Bhagavad Gita is to deal more with the mind than with the body. As a matter of fact, Yoga Shastra itself is to deal more with the mind than with the body. Sukha Sthira Asana, only one sentence. Samam Kaya Sirogrivam, another phrase. The rest of the entire Bhagavad Gita is to deal with mind. Why? Patanjali himself deals with only the mind. Yama Niyama Asana Asana. That is settlement. Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. All psychological. Entire Yoga Shastra is to deal with the mind. Entire Bhagavad Gita is to deal with mind. It is the patient in the first chapter, and the doctor gives medicine after medicine, injection after injection, tablet after tablet, sets right the person. And what does Arjuna say at the end? Nasto mohaha, smrutir labdhaha. Stitosmi gata sandeha. No more doubt, no more confusion, no more misunderstanding. Clarity of understanding I have, truth I have, and now Khrishye Vachanam Tam, I will wage a war, I will do wonders. The patient who comes to a yoga master should go back as a healthy person. We treat the minds, not the bodies. People who come to scoff will remain to pray, as Goldsmith would say. A sickly person goes back as a healthy person. Yes, thin person goes back as a slim, smart, young, dynamic, brisk person. And they go with contentment. They go with happiness. They go with their handsome features, beautiful features, and they will be men, right men to bring reformation in the entire country. May we all, by the grace of God Almighty, treat our people psychologically on the basis of Bhagavad Gita, Raja Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and Prapatti Yoga. Let us accept the responsibility of making the people all right by just sitting and talking to them. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. God